Hey everyone, and welcome to another XIM tutorial. Today, I want to explain you everything you need to know to set up a perfect Anthem XIM configuration. This tutorial will also work with a XIM 4. In this video I will go over the following 3 topics. First, I will show you the necessary XIM adjustments and game settings that you should use to get the best performance in Anthem. The second topic will be about the actual Anthem configuration. I will show you the best settings for hip and aim down sights. In the last topic I will show you a trick with which you can increase your mouse turn speed while flying or being underwater with your javelin. This video is built on top of my basic XIM configuration guide. If you are a XIM newcomer, and you do not know how to enable the expert mode, update your game profile list, or create a new XIM game profile, then I highly recommend you to watch this video first. You can find it under link 1 in the video description. These steps are not shown in this video. As always, you can find the copy and paste codes of everything that I show you in this tutorial in the video description. If you have problems to understand this tutorial, then you can either ask in the comments down below, or you can click on the pastebin link in the video description. This will forward you to the full English text of this tutorial. You can use the text with a translation software for example. But let's start with the first topic of this video. The important XIM adjustments and required game settings. Start by launching your XIM Manager app and connect it to your XIM. Once that is done, click on the Options button in the top right. After that, head into the Global Settings. Here you can adjust your XIM polling rate. Anthem works best with either 1000 or 500 Hz for both your XIM and your mouse. 500 Hz is a little bit better for Anthem because it gives a better aim assist behavior. Therefore I will use 500 Hz for this tutorial. My mouse also doesn't run so well on 1000 Hz, so 500 Hz is the way to go for me. If you are unsure which polling rate works best with your mouse, then I would recommend you to run a polling rate benchmark test. In my best polling rate tutorial I show you 3 different benchmarks that you can use for that. You can find the video on my YouTube channel. Once you have adjusted your XIM polling rate, hit the Save button in the bottom right. You can now leave this menu by pressing the arrow in the top left. After that, power cycle your XIM Apex. You do that by unplugging and reconnecting your XIM to the console. This will restart your XIM, which is necessary so that your polling rate changes become active. You can ignore this step if you use a XIM 4 as it runs on a locked 125 Hz polling rate. When your XIM and your manager are running again, click on the wrench button in the bottom right of the Anthem game picture. This will open a new window. Press the Yes button and you will be forwarded to the XIM forum. Here you can learn more about the required in-game settings that your XIM needs in order to give you the best possible mouse movements. Please, do not use any other settings. Your XIM will only work as intended if you use the correct in-game settings. Except for a poor performance warning, there are no specific requirements for Anthem. Don't worry about the message, with this configuration the game will work very well. Since there are no requirements listed, the text at the very top applies to Anthem. It is enough to set all the controller sensitivities to maximum in the game settings. So head into your game and change its settings now. Set all 4 controller sensitivities in the game to 100%. The aim sensitivity, zoomed sensitivity, flight sensitivity and swim sensitivity. Once you have done that, you can go back to your XIM Manager. In the second topic I will show you how to set up the Anthem XIM configuration. The first step is to click the Configuration Edit button in the top left to enter the editing menu of your Anthem configuration. Start by changing the configuration light on the left side. Pick your favorite color from the list. I will go with blue. Whenever my XIM now shows a blue light, I know that my Anthem game profile is running. On the right side of the configuration color you can find the hotkey option. I will use the F1 key for this feature. This allows me to load my Anthem XIM profile by pressing F1 on my keyboard whenever I want to. The next step is to swipe one time to the right in your Anthem XIM configuration. This will load the HIP menu. The first thing you should do here is to adjust your synchronization settings. Under your XIM HIP sensitivity, you can find a button with 3 dots. Click that button to expand the advanced options of your mouse movements. The synchronization value has a big influence on how smooth and responsive your mouse movements will be. It also plays a big role in how strong or weak the aim assist will be. Anthem works best with common or default. Common gives the better overall mouse movements, while default will reduce the aim assist a little bit. I will go with common for this tutorial. If you have a XIM 4, then you can ignore this setting as it runs on a locked default synchronization. Once you have picked your preferred synchronization value, you can continue by adjusting your HIP sensitivity in the XIM manager. Go with a sensitivity level that you feel comfortable with. My preferred XIM HIP mouse sensitivity for Anthem is 15. If you want to play with a higher or lower value, then this is absolutely fine. One thing to consider though is that your mouse DPI has a noticeable influence on how high or low your XIM sensitivity value will be. The more DPI you use, the lower your XIM sensitivity will be. My Anthem XIM sensitivity of 15 is based on 3200 DPI. In general, I highly recommend you to use at least 3000 DPI for the best mouse movements. If you want to learn more about mouse DPI, and how it affects your XIM and the quality of your mouse movements, then you can watch my best mouse and XIM DPI tutorial under link 2 in the video description. Under the synchronization option you can find the smoothing feature. If you experience mouse stutter, then you can use this feature to get rid of it. However, if you have mouse stutter, I would recommend you to first reduce your mouse polling rate, or play with a lower synchronization value. If those 2 steps didn't solve the stutter, then you can apply smoothing to your mouse movements. In most scenarios a value of 1 to 3 is enough, but of course you can also use a higher value. If you set up everything correctly, then there shouldn't be any need for smoothing though. Next to the smoothing feature you can find the steady aim and boost option. Steady aim is not very useful for Anthem and I wouldn't recommend you to use it. The boost feature is quite helpful though. It makes your mouse movements more responsive for smaller movements and will reduce the resistance of the aim assist bubble. If you struggle to switch between targets because of the aim assist, then I recommend you to use a boost value of 50 to 300. I will use a boost value of 100 for this tutorial. Now scroll a little bit down until you can see the movement options. At the bottom of it you can once again click the button with the 3 dots to expand the advanced settings. There you can find the Simulate Analog Behavior feature. Together with Boost it helps quite a lot to give you a better aim assist bubble transition. For Anthem a value of 0 to 50 works best. Since I don't have any problems with the aim assist, I will not use Simulate Analog Behavior though. You can ignore this feature if you use an analog stick instead of a keyboard. If your XIM manager doesn't show you the Boost, Steady Aim or Simulate Analog Behavior feature, then you have to update your XIM and your XIM manager to the latest version. This is one of the things that I addressed in the basic XIM configuration guide. Also, if you want to learn more about those 3 new features, then you can check out the tutorial videos on my channel. The next thing to do is to customize your button bindings. Scroll down until you can find the button binding options. Here you can either copy my button layout that you can see right now, or you go with your own one. Use buttons that you can comfortably click while moving your character in the game. I recommend you to bind your javelin ability actions to buttons that you can press while moving your character around. At the very bottom of your button bindings you can find the Advanced Settings button again. Click it to get the option to switch to the secondary button bindings. This allows you to bind every controller action a second time. Make use out of this if there are actions you would like to bind twice. I use this to bind my third ability button to a single key. When I press the 1 key on my keyboard, my XIM will send both the R1 and L1 button to the console. When your button bindings are complete, swipe one more time to the right. That way you will access the aim down sights configuration. The first thing you should do here is to make sure that your activation key is the same key that you assigned to the aim down sights action in your hip configuration. I used the right mouse click for this action in my hip configuration, so I do not need to change it. At the bottom of your aim down sights sensitivity you can find the button for the advanced settings again. Click it to expand these settings. Pick the same synchronization profile that you use in your hip configuration. For me this means I will go with synchronization common again. After that, you can add some smoothing or steady aim. As I said earlier, your mouse movements shouldn't have any stutter with this configuration, so smoothing should not be required. Steady aim also isn't really helpful for Anthem. As for the boost feature, aim assist is usually more of a problem in aim down sights than in the hip mode. Therefore, if you experience aim assist problems you can use a value of 50 to 300. I will once again use a boost value of 100. The next step is to adjust your aim down sights sensitivity. Scroll up again and pick a sensitivity that you feel comfortable with. I prefer an aim down sights sensitivity of 10. The last step is to set an aim down sights delay. Expand the advanced settings under the activation button. There you can set a delay value. In my opinion, a value of 450 works best with Anthem. This value will prevent any aim and sensitivity jumps while going into aim down sights. In the last topic I will show you how to set up a sub-configuration for flying and underwater scenarios. This will heavily increase your turn speed in those situations. Start by swiping one more time to the right. That way you will enter a new auxiliary configuration. Click on the Enable button to unlock this configuration. The first thing you should do here is to bind your activation key. Use a key that you haven't bound to any other action yet. I will use the R key for this. After that, adjust the sensitivity of this auxiliary configuration. Use a sensitivity that is 3 to 5 times higher than your hip sensitivity. Since my hip mouse sensitivity is pretty slow, I will multiply my hip sensitivity with 5. My auxiliary sensitivity is therefore 75. At the bottom of the sensitivity option you can find the button for the advanced settings. Click on it to expand these settings. Once again pick the same synchronization profile that you use in your hip configuration. I will go with synchronization common again. The most important step comes now, which is the boost level. Set your boost value to 3000. This will increase your turn speed and micro movements by quite a lot. This sub-configuration now works like the following. Whenever you are flying or diving underwater, you just hold down your activation button. This will boost your mouse sensitivity. Once you are done flying or diving, you just stop pressing the activation button to get back to your normal mouse sensitivity. Of course you can also go with a toggle activation, however in my opinion it is easier to just hold down a button while flying and diving. This flying and underwater sub-configuration is now complete. You can hit the save button and exit this configuration with the arrow in the top left. If you have any questions about the XIM, or about this Anthem configuration, just ask in the comments down below. If you liked this video, hit the like button or even subscribe to this channel. Of course, you can also use my Fortnite creator code if you want to. Also, let me know if you would like to see more of these tutorials in the comments down below, and I will maybe see you in the next one. Until then, enjoy your XIM experience.